Today, we're going to talk about the hidden 401k trap costing American billions. Hi, I'm Dave Lopez.
And I'm Chase Lopez, and we're financial advisors with ILG Financial. And this is another episode of Retire Your Way with ILG Financial, where we talk all things retirement. Now, Dave, before we jump in, just want to remind everyone, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button down below so you can get notifications for all of our future videos. So why don't we just jump right in?
Yeah, let's jump into it. So again, to hit on what I said before, imagine you personally, Chase, losing thousands of dollars, some people even tens of thousands of dollars, not because you spent the money, not because the market crashed and you lost it, but imagine losing it because you forgot you even had the money. And that's happening to thousands of Americans. We're going to talk about what it is today and how you can prevent it.
Yeah, so a common thing for folks is you switch a job and you're laser focused on that new job, right? You're focused on the benefits. HR hands you a huge packet that you have to fill out, right? You're working on learning your new coworkers, everything like that. But a lot of times what people forget is that old 401k from the previous job that they just left. And oftentimes that money either gets moved, it's not invested properly, and that can end up costing, to your point, Dave, people thousands of dollars, down the line.
That's right. And here's how it happens. You leave that job, and if you forget about it, a lot of people don't know that 401k companies have the ability for small 401k accounts, and think anywhere from $7,000 or less, that if you leave your company, they can move it out of their 401k into an IRA in your name. Now, why do they do that? We'll talk about that in a minute. But it's called an involuntary rollover. It's not a taxable event, but it literally gets it off of their books and into an IRA in your name. And if you're not following up or keeping track, you don't even know that thing exists. Worse, when it goes into that involuntary IRA account, it's usually just sitting in cash. Imagine that money sitting there for years and years, earning maybe 0.1% interest, no growth whatsoever, because you forgot you had it.
Yeah, Dave and I, when we were talking through this, we looked at a real world example, and really the numbers were stark when we kind of ran the numbers there. Yeah. So basically we had said, hey, there's $4,500 sitting in this involuntary IRA. And today's point, it gets moved into the equivalent of a money market account, essentially cash, right? So in this example, it's earning about 2% a year. Now, after 40 years, that $4,500 at 2% a year would go to $10,000, okay? Now, compare that to if you had that same $4,500 and over the next 40 years, it only earned 5%, right?
It's conservative.
Yeah. And that on paper doesn't seem like a lot, right? Going from 2 to 5%. But after 40 years, that 10,000 grows, instead of growing to 10,000, it goes all the way to $33,000. So you're losing out on basically triple your money just because you didn't know that the money was just sitting there in a money market account in that IRA, of course.
Yeah. And over time, statistics are bearing out that up to $28 billion today is being held in these type of IRAs that was involuntarily rolled over. By 2030, they're expecting that number, get this, to grow to $43 billion held in these involuntary IRA accounts, much of it sitting at, to be generous, 2%. It might be sitting at less than 2%. Think what you're getting in the bank.
Right. Now, there's a couple of reasons why this happens, right? I think people, if they're watching their video, they're thinking, oh my goodness, how could this happen to Hank, right? Now, the first reason for that is automatic enrollment, right? So when you sign up for a job, oftentimes nowadays, they will automatically enroll you into your 401k. You may not even know the money is going in. You're just receiving your paycheck and you're with the company for 10 years. You leave the company and you never even knew you had the 401k, much less, where it's to have the knowledge to go back and get it, right? Number two is, we alluded to it at the beginning, is there's kind of this chaotic point of your life when you're switching jobs. Goes back to what we talked about before, right? Which is you're switching jobs. There's a lot of change in your life. Oftentimes, the last thing people are thinking about is that small old 401k that they had at their old job.
Yeah, it's easy to slip through the cracks.
Yeah.
Another one is what we call unread notices. So the 401k companies know that when they do this, they are required to notify you.
Right.
but they're just sending you a letter to their last known address. So if you've moved or changed address, you may not even get it. Or worse, you just get it and it looks like another bill or something, and you just don't read through it or acknowledge it. And that might be the only notices that you get that you got it. And once you move, they have no idea where your new address is, so you're not going to get any other notices moving forward that get to you unless the post office forwards them.
Right.
Last one is, and this is a challenge, a lot of these accounts, because they're so small, they have huge administrative costs.
Right. For the company.
For the company, right? So, because the company has to keep records on the 401ks.
Right.
So this is why they're allowed to do this. They're saying, listen, this person has left. It's a huge cost to us, so we're just going to offload it. Now, the unfortunate thing is, which we'll talk about, is you still are going to get costs. You're just going to be paid for them.
Right.
Out of this account.
Yeah, and it's an excellent kind of segue there, Dave. This is kind of an example out there of somebody that kind of ran into the situation. So there's a 29-year-old worker, and she had a 401k, and it automatically got rolled to the IRA when she left. And what ended up happening was she was busy, the new job, all the things that we kind of talked about. So she forgot about it. And it was paying very little interest inside of that IRA. As you mentioned, it was in a money market account. What ended up happening is for the first year, she earned $7 of interest, a whopping $7 on her money. Now, the other part of that equation is she was charged a $15 administrative fee because it wasn't with the company anymore. So they charged it to her, right? So she earns $7 on her account and she loses $15 to the fees. Her account is actually going down in that exchange. So just more the reason for folks to just keep track of these old 401ks and these IRAs.
Yeah, and if you add to that, imagine had she known about it and invested it. If that stock market is going up 24% over that period, so now instead of losing money, you could have been making money. So it's a big problem that we have.
Yeah, so here's the really kind of concerning part. This is a huge problem, right? And after 3 years, I should say, studies find that more than 75% of people don't even touch these accounts. So that's 3 years of potential growth that people are leaving on the table. And that's 3 out of every 4 people just are totally unaware that these accounts are out there.
I think that's the point, right?
Yeah.
You have to read between the lines here, but if 3/4 of the people aren't touching them, where they're being charged fees and earning maybe under 2%, really the takeaway is they don't know they exist or completely have forgotten those accounts are there.
Right. So what do we do? Right. Talked about the issue, those kind of lonely 401k accounts out there. What should we kind of do about it? The first thing we say that you should do is track every 401k that you've had. So, make sure you're keeping diligent records of all of those different kind of 401ks that you have. Also, you want to roll it over intentionally. And what I mean by that is once you leave a job, you will have the opportunity to roll that old 401k to a new account, right? You could either roll it to an IRA, an individual retirement account in your name, or if you want, at your new job, your new 401k, they may allow you to roll the old 401k into the new 401k. So that may be easy, right? To consolidate. Now you only have one account as opposed to.
But either way, you know where the money is. I think you made a good point here, this word intentionally.
Yes.
I think you're doing it. You know where the money is. And now you can do what's more important that we hit on. Now you can invest the money.
Right.
So instead of earning under 2% and being charged $15 in fees, you can actually put it to work and you'll know if there are any fees. And then the last one is stay vigilant on this. Many people switch. It's the new world we're living in. You're switching jobs, several jobs over your career or a 5 or 10 year period. It is very easy for this to happen. So make a list of your employers and regularly go back and just double check. One of the things we talked about, Chase, was it's hard sometimes, especially if you left a job in an unpleasant situation. You don't want to call the old company. Listen, don't worry about that. You're not calling your old boss. Call the company, ask for HR. They don't even know you from Adam. And just say you want to double check that you don't have an IRA or 401k or that it wasn't moved to an involuntary IRA. And if so, how do you find it?
Right. And I think one kind of takeaway from this is really and truly, you probably only have to do that one time, right?
That's right.
Once you get everything rolled into, say, one account, well, now you've kind of checked that box, right? But one of the biggest dangers in retirement with investing is not necessarily making the wrong investment or anything like that. Oftentimes, it's doing nothing, right? Inaction is an action. We talk about that with a lot of our clients, right? So ultimately, if you have switched jobs recently, or even not recently, even if it's way back when, your first job out of college, whatever the case may be, you definitely want to make sure that you have all of these different 401k monies accounted for. So I think that's it, Dave, right?
I thought I covered it.
Again, make sure you check for those old 401ks, and we'll see you next time with Retire Your Way.
Hey, before you go, like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Hi, Dave Lopez here. I want to thank you for watching our ILG Financial video series, Retire Your Way with ILG Financial. Just wanted to remind you, in addition to our YouTube video series, we also offer podcasts, 30-minute podcasts on different topics. You can check them out through our YouTube channel. You can also look at them through our website or any of the below listed platforms. Talk to you soon.